So what is the difference between fear from God and fear from Satan? Well, we all know that the beginning of wisdom is fear from God. And so how can we decipher, how can we tell the difference between the fear from God and the fear from the enemy? Well, say for example, you want to talk to a girl, but you're too scared to talk to the girl. Not because you're scared of the girl, but because you have the fear of rejection. You have the fear of being judged. And you have the fear from the anxiety that you're currently facing. And so, I'm not saying this is directly from the enemy, but fear from the enemy is going to prevent you from doing things. But the fear from God is going to motivate you to do better things. You know, when you have the fear of not being good enough or the fear of being weak, that fear is going to motivate you to become stronger. But if you have fear from the enemy is going to try to scare you. He's going to try to prevent you from sharing the gospel. Growing up as a kid, I used to be scared to ask my dad for certain things, not because I was scared of him, but because I didn't want to disrespect him. And so in the Bible, God is referred to as the Father. And so we don't want to disrespect God. That's why we have that fear. Not because we're scared of God, but because we don't want to disrespect him. And so we want to respect him by following his commandments. It says in the Bible, if you love me, keep my commandments. We should be aware that we are in the presence of the Almighty. And this means we should respect him. You know, if you love him, you would respect him, just like a father, right? You wouldn't call your father names. You would listen to his rules. If you're in the house of your father, you would listen to his rules if you loved him. But if you didn't love your father, you would obviously break these rules. And you see, when we sin, we break those rules. We're breaking God's commandment. But luckily, Jesus, he died on the cross for our sins. So now that we know this, you know, Jesus, he did all the work. No matter how many things you do, no matter how many good things you do in this world, it's not going to save you, because Jesus, he already did the work. So one of the biggest fears in the world is the fear behind death. But we shouldn't be afraid of what can kill the flesh, but we should be afraid of who can kill the flesh and the spirit, which is God. Because at the end of the humble day, God is going to judge our spirit, and he's going to judge us on our faith, whether we believed in Jesus or we believed in the world. If we had our faith placed upon the world, upon the enemy. And you cannot serve two masters at once, my boy. So you got to pick and choose. You can't be half and half. You can't be 75% for Jesus and 25% for the world. Nah, my boy. You got to either be all in or it's nothing. It's either it's either Jesus or nothing. Yeah. A lot of people tend to tell themselves, I don't really feel God's presence. Hey, I made a video on that. I don't really feel God's presence. I don't really feel him in my life. But how many times are you in the Word? Because the Word is food for the spirit. And so we eat 3 meals a day on average: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's 3 times 7 days a week. That's 21 meals a week. That is 21 times you've satisfied the flesh. But how many times are you in the Word? How many times are you feeding your soul? I'm not gonna lie, if you're not in the Word at least once a day, you low-key are cooked. You are low-key missing out on God's love. Now, I'm not saying you have to read the Bible in order to feel God's love. But what I'm saying is it's going to be better off for your spirit, because you are feeding the spirit. You are resisting the flesh and feeding the spirit. That's why fasting is also another great way of actually making progress with God, because you are resisting the desires of your flesh and you're starting to grow in the spirit. Because now the only food you essentially need is the Word. You know, when Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, he did not eat anything, right? Now this is basically like statistically, humanly impossible. But my boy, it's Jesus, you know what I'm saying? He is the way, the truth, and the life. He can do anything. You know, if he calmed the storms, If he rose from the dead, like low-key, what can he not do, right? That's why we place our faith upon him, because we know he did all these things. And with God, all things are possible. So low-key, Jesus was out here rebuking the kingdom of darkness. And so that's what we got to do. We got to rebuke the kingdom of darkness, because Satan, he's going to try to implement and install this fear. I'm not going to lie. A lot of us have like childhood traumas that we haven't healed from. And so when we actually try to connect with God, these things from the past hold us back. The Bible does talk about letting go of the past, because you cannot hold on to the past version of yourself and become a new version of yourself, right? Then you would be two-faced, low-key, right? And I'm not gonna lie, like that's literally impossible. Like unless you have some like personality disorder, hey, that's up to you. But you cannot be two people in one body. And that's why the Bible calls us to be reborn. You know, unless one is reborn, we cannot enter the kingdom. And the only way to be reborn is to be reborn spiritually. And that's where Jesus comes in. Because when we establish that relationship with him, we are reborn. We are renewed in his creation. And no one can know the Father unless they know Jesus. So low-key, we got to build up that relationship with Jesus. But how can we build up that relationship if we're going to let fear hold us back? The fear from the enemy, not the fear from him, from God, but the fear from the enemy. And that's why it also says in the Bible, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I will uphold you with my righteous hand. Because we shouldn't be afraid of the unknown. We shouldn't let fear from the enemy hold us back from God. But we shouldn't also look at God as this like loving, squishy, soft character, right? Because God is masculine, because he shows us his love. That's the most masculine thing you can do, is show love. Not show how like strong you are. Oh yeah, like the enemy can say he's strong, he has a kingdom, you know, he has millions of followers. But Jesus is much stronger than that, because Jesus is the love of God. Jesus gives us love. He has eternal love for us. And so we shouldn't take that love for granted. That's why we should have fear in God. Because just like a good father, if we continue to sin willingly, knowing our consequences, don't you think we're gonna get punished? Like if I were to tell my father, oh yeah, I don't like you, oh yeah, I'm gonna continue stealing from these stores, you know, I don't care about you, I don't care about your reputation, how do you think he's gonna feel? Obviously, he's gonna feel saddened, but he's also gonna punish you for your crimes. And that's where Judgment Day comes. Because just like a good judge, he's gonna judge you based off of your crimes. That's where the best attorney, Jesus, comes in to step in place for all your crimes. But if you've never repented for your crimes, if you've never said to yourself that you were sorry for your crimes, that if you've never admitted to God that you were sorry for your crimes, then how is he going to forgive you? Because most people try to overlook those crimes, those sins that they did, by saying, I did good works, by saying, I went to church on Sundays. Oh, I saved 1,000 puppies in my life. But you never repented for your crimes. You've never actually said you're sorry for your crimes. You never actually went to God and said, hey, you know what? I messed up. I'm going to start being a better man or a better woman for you. No, you never said that. You just continuously, oh yeah, you know, I did some good things here and there, but I still went to the club. I still went out, partied, drank. You know, I still listened to like all this like secular music. Yeah, I still did all this stuff, but at least I did something good, right? God's gonna be like, depart from me, for I've never known you. And I don't want anyone to hear those words, including myself. And that's why I make these videos. That's why I'm gonna continue growing my relationship with the Most High. Not because I want a get out of jail card, no, but because I want to secure that eternal love. I want to feel that eternal love. I don't want some fake GMO love from the world, from the flesh. No, that stuff is temporary. But what is eternal is the love from the Most High. So in order to experience that love, we gotta rebuke the kingdom of darkness and embrace the kingdom of righteousness. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Stay blessed, stay wealthy, and remember to keep surpassing your limits. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.